We'll go up the steps to the passageway here at the theatre. Good morning and welcome to the third day of my city break here in Valencia. And today I'm going to visit a castle in a small town just outside the city. So come with me as I enjoy a day out in Sagunto. In Sagunto, only 35 minutes on the train, €7.90 for return tickets, plus €1.50 for the metro, €9.40 in total to get here. Didn't think that was too bad. And Spanish trains, lovely and clean. Rather nice, must ride on those more often. And 22 degrees I reckon today, lovely and warm. A little bit cooler than the last few days, but the sun is shining and that's all that matters. So in this video we're going to walk up to the castle, take a route through the town, see what we can discover and have a fun day out in Sagunto. This is a really beautiful little town. So many back streets, quaint architecture, quite different to Valencia. Really is delightful. Old style houses with balconies, wooden doors, all layered in between little tiny narrow back streets. Really lovely. I do love little towns like this. They're so enjoyable to walk around. And there's a fantastic mural on the wall. That's absolutely brilliant. Looks like some sort of Greek or Roman god. Roman governor or something. This was a Roman settlement. There are Roman remains here. That's really lovely to see. Absolutely beautiful. But just up ahead is the church of Santa Maria de Morvedre. What a lovely church, looking at it from the outside. Construction began in 1334 on a site that was originally occupied by the Morvedre Mosque. Completed building the church 500 years later, towards the end of the 18th century. Absolutely beautiful. The beautiful front door as well. It dates from the 15th century. Really is absolutely beautiful. Well, now let's walk on a little further and see what else we can discover on the way up to the castle. It's so quiet walking through these back streets. It really is absolutely delightful. Bit of traffic noise in the main square where I came in. But up here it's absolutely lovely. The church is just behind me. And I'm going to walk up now to what used to be a hermitage. And it's all brilliant white. It's absolutely fantastic. And the birds are out, they're in full voice. Hope the camera's picking that up It's absolutely delightful here, it really is. Gosh, this is rather exciting. I've not seen anything like this before. I've visited so many religious places, cathedrals, basilicas, rural parish churches and monastic complexes, but I've not seen anything like this. Just walk up these steps. Wow, all the walls are white, and it's a lovely church, painted with bricks on the outside, painted brickwork. Let's go up and take a look. Steps walking up here are so uneven. It's probably why the worshippers might opt to take the zigzag path, which is the other way up here. It really is beautiful. Get a lovely view of the church where I've just come from, and on the left are the Stations of the Cross. I think they're the Stations of the Cross. Lots of depictions of Jesus throughout his life. You do get that in Catholic churches. Lots of depictions of the stages of the cross. It's absolutely beautiful to see. And the views from up here really are quite something. Get a really good view of the town and of the church as well. It really is lovely. And there's a little chapel up here. It's absolutely beautiful. It really is. It's actually closed, so I can't go in, which is a shame, because it would have been nice to walk inside and have a look at an old chapel up here. But this is the old hermitage. It goes back hundreds of years. It's absolutely beautiful. And the bottom of the castle as well. Look up and see the castle. That must have been some stronghold in its day. It really is. It's absolutely beautiful. And in the distance, you can just make out the sea, just glistening in the sunshine. That's lovely. Absolutely beautiful, because we're right on the Mediterranean here. Valencia is on the Mediterranean. And it's only about 2 miles to the beach from the centre of Valencia. A little bit further from here though. It really is beautiful. As I was just sitting here, looking up at the castle, I noticed a tower. So I'm going to go and try and find that, and then walk up to the castle. So glad I came here. It's absolutely beautiful. And all I can hear is the sound of the birds. It really is lovely. Anyway, I'll leave you with some views overlooking the town of Sagunto. I think the weather forecast is wrong today. It's a lot warmer than 22 degrees, probably 27, 28. But I'm not complaining. The weather last week in England was nowhere near half this good. And I do like my warmth and my sunshine when I go away. It's lovely. But this tower's quite interesting. Nice brickwork. There is an information sign here, but it's faded. It's got some graffiti on it which they've rubbed out, which is a shame, because it'd be nice to read a little bit about the tower. Looking at the top, it does have a sort of an Islamic influence about it. I know the castle does in parts. Mishmash of architecture up there, which we'll discover later. This tower probably form part of the outer defences of the castle. past the defensive watchtower for the town. Just a shame I can't read the information plaque. But there we go. At least they've got one. Unlike some of the places I visited recently, they don't have any information plaques up at all, which is a shame. But there we go. But let's see what else we can discover here on the way up to the castle. Oh, that was an enjoyable little walk. Just followed the path, the old cobbled path, all the way through the trees to get to the theatre. This is the old Roman theatre. They've rebuilt it in modern brick, modern seating, modern staging, all in the casement of the Roman theatre. Looks very impressive. And there's a vomitorium as well. That was nice to see that. I do like to walk through a vomitorium when I go to a Roman theatre. Absolutely beautiful. But these are the stairs that go up to the castle. So hopefully the castle's open. And climb up these steps. Bumped into a lot of the locals as well, all out walking their dogs. All very friendly. Hola, buenos dias. Lovely. I learned some words of Spanish on my trip. Not many. But it's always nice to greet the locals in their own language. It's just nice. And they're always happy to say hello back. Very friendly. But now these steps, as I say, go up to the castle. So I'll climb the castle steps and we'll see you at the top. Oh, that was an enjoyable walk up those steps. There's quite a few of them. That's lovely. Just heading up off into the castle. Lovely entrance door right ahead. And these huge walls. Really is incredible to look at. And the castle is free entry. Absolutely wonderful. You can see the other side of that impressive wall as well. That's absolutely huge. Several feet thick. And they've got a little museum there as well. It's just by the entrance. I had a look in there. Really rather interesting. Just so much history here. About 600 years before the birth of Christ, Sagunto was known as the Iberian town of Arcei, and then the Romans arrived. The Romanization of the Iberian Peninsula began in the 3rd century BC, and Sagunto soon became a town allied with Rome. It played an important part in the Second Punic War when it was taken by the Carthaginians and reconquered shortly afterwards by the Romans. Known as Saguntum, it was initially a foederatus, or an ally of Rome, and later achieved the legal status of Latin Colonia in 55 BC. In 4 BC, the town became a municipum with Roman rights, a privilege granted by the Emperor Augustus. The castle ruins that remain today are largely Roman. There's also some Islamic influence from the 11th century. So I'm going to walk around the castle before heading down to the amphitheatre, because it is a Roman amphitheatre that has been rebuilt, and that's open. So we're going to have a look at that after we've seen the castle. So let's... Just as I came into this upper part, there's a little museum on the right hand side. Lots of pieces of stonework in there with Roman inscriptions on. Romans wrote inscriptions for everything. And a few fragments have survived. Some are quite impressive. But seeing them out of situ, they have little significance compared to seeing them on the front of a impressive entrance gate or a monument of some description. The castle up here dominates the landscape. The strategic location of the castle provides control over the coastal corridor and the Valencia river corridor, to which you can access the interior of the peninsula from there, from the river. Must have been quite foreboding in its heyday. Just imagine walking through here. And of course, when it was the town of Marseille, the people who lived up here, this has been the old part of the town. They have lived and worked here. And then, of course, in Roman times, you can imagine Roman soldiers up here, and the Islamic soldiers as well in the 11th century. Absolutely incredible up here, and some of the buildings up ahead. Very impressive indeed. So let's go down here and take a look at some of them. The building with the columns on the front is the site of the Roman Forum. When this place was occupied by the Romans, this was their headquarters area. It's where they did all their business. It's a shame there's no information plaques up actually in the castle. There are one or two around the town that I've spotted, but nothing up here. Would have been nice to have something to look at and read, with some illustrations perhaps as well. It's a shame. Maybe if they did that, then there would be an entrance fee. And to be honest, I wouldn't mind paying an entrance fee, because to visit a site like this really is very exciting indeed. It's quite different to other castles that I visited in other places. So let's head on up to the other gate so we can discover up there. It really is lovely walking around here. Absolutely fascinating just looking at all the different types of architecture for the different periods of occupation. The most impressive of all is this gateway, and it is remarkably well preserved. I think it's had some work done on it. But these doors as well, they are fantastic. Original doors. See, showing the age of time. But absolutely fascinating to see them. They must be from the, I reckon they're 700 or 800 years old. They're falling apart. They really are that old. About 6 inches thick, 7 inches thick. Brilliant. Just love seeing old doors like that. Absolutely brilliant. And a nice big thistle bush. Lots of bees busying away on the thistles. That's interesting to see. Lots of nature up here. There's lots of birds. I can hear them singing in the background. I can hear the insects as well in the scrub. It's a little bit windy up here, a little breezy. But this section up here seems to be the most preserved of them all. It's remains of some buildings on the left-hand side. And the ramparts as well. Taking a look up there, you can see the arrow slits on the little bits at the top. Gives protection to the archers firing out and very difficult for the enemy to fire into them through those narrow slits on the outside. Absolutely fantastic here. I think they've done a lot of work to preserve some of the buildings here. Another section of building just ahead. So let's go through the doorway here and into the building. This is quite nice in here. I think they have done some preservation work, looking at the old doors, the old windows, and the brickwork. This must have been some room of important room. There's quite a nice patterned floor in the stones on the floor. Perhaps this was a main meeting hall area. Might have been a barracks room for the garrison. More likely to be a barracks room for the garrison, because it's next to the wall and it's open on one side. But there's no information plaques up to tell me, which is a shame. And over the back here, wow, what a fantastic sight. Looking over the modern part of Sagunto towards the Mediterranean. Absolutely beautiful. Wow. It's worth coming up here to see the view and to see the insects on the thistles. That was interesting. But there we go. I'm going to admire the view for a few minutes. So I'll leave you with some pictures of the castle and the view overlooking Sagunto. And I'll see you down at the Roman Theatre. And I'm down inside the amphitheatre. It was absolutely fantastic. And now that they're actually renovating it. I visited a Roman amphitheatre in Provence earlier this year, and those videos will come to my channel later in the year. So look out for those. And if you're watching this in a year's time, well, have a search through the playlists and you'll find those videos. It's fantastic walking around here. This is the vomitorium I spotted earlier from the gates behind me. Absolutely incredible looking at this. We'll go up the steps to the passageway here at the theatre. Absolutely brilliant. The stonework is as good in here as it was when the theatre was built by the Romans in the 1st century AD. There's always been a theatre here, but this one was rebuilt in the 1st century. Let's go back out into the auditorium. There we go. Sit down and pretend I'm watching a play. They made a first-class job of renovating the theatre. Absolutely incredible. It would be lovely to come here and watch a performance of some description. Maybe when I return to Valencia another occasion, I'll have a look and see what they got on here and try and come to a play. Something Shakespearean sounds fun, but something classical with a Roman theme like Julius Caesar would be a great play to come and see here. Absolutely brilliant. You can still see the remains of the Roman seating as well. And there's a little echo, which I can hear in my voice. So maybe the actors on the stage their voices would have projected up into the auditorium. Certainly a degree anyway. Incredible, it really is absolutely beautiful here. But this is where I'm going to end the video. I hope you've enjoyed this walk through Sagunto, seeing the hermitage and the tower and that lovely old church as well. Tomorrow's my last day in Valencia, and we're going to enjoy that by doing something very different tomorrow. So I hope you can join me then. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and follow my journey, because there's plenty more to come, including the series from Provence, which will be coming later this year. Thanks for watching.